Stephanie, welcome to the DMEXCO TV studio here in Cologne on the first day on DMEXCO. We are very happy to have you here. Could you kindly explain who you are and what you're doing?
Well, first, thank you for having me here today. Stephanie Buscemi. I am a Chief Marketing Officer at Salesforce. Been with Salesforce about 5 years, and I lead the company around our positioning and messaging, how we engage with our customers, and the experiences that we deliver to our customers every day.
Okay, you just were on stage for the opening keynote and you were talking about trust and also about empowerment and diversity. Could you share with us kindly some of your beliefs about those things?
Yeah, I mean, I believe deeply, and Salesforce believes deeply, that you really can't move forward in any kind of relationship if you don't have trust. It's foundational to everything you do. And really believe that whether it's the smallest decision or the biggest decision, whether it's the smallest interaction or big interaction with your customers, that those are all trust-building moments. Mm-hmm. And you either build trust in those every interaction or you break trust. And really believe that with everything going on around us in the world, that now more than ever, we need to get back to really building those trusted relationships with customers, and we focus on that throughout the entire company at all levels in everything we do.
Yeah, so you already said the world is getting a bit more crazy. We have elections being endangered by foreign forces and stuff like that. So why is trust also so important for companies?
Trust is important within companies because I think a lot of times people look and see a large company and you lose sight of the people. Mm-hmm. And behind every company, behind every new technology is a person. And I think it gets back to, we need to be thinking about both with our head and our heart. People have a need to make human connection, and part of making human connection is having trusted interactions with people.
Okay. And tomorrow you are going to have a fireside chat called Promise versus Purpose-Driven Brand Management. Could you already also share some insights with us in terms of creating value?
Yeah, at Salesforce, we really think about it as values create value. Mm-hmm. And so trust is one value. It's deeply personal. Every company needs to do that reflection and be true to themselves and authentic in terms of what are the values of their company. And then those values get manifested in your brand promise. Mm-hmm. And your interactions. And that is part of the attraction for your customer or the consumer. It's what speaks to them, what resonates with them. So we're going to have a conversation about what are the promises that you make to your customers and your prospects every day, and how do they sit not just as brand messages, but with the values of your company.
So you think it's directly connected what a company is standing for and the promise that the company is giving to the customer?
Yeah, we absolutely believe that. I mean, we look at it as business as a platform for change out in the world, and that it isn't the business's responsibility to just have great products and services. It's conscious capitalism out there. We have a responsibility to give back and do good in the world. And we look at what are the things that our employees in particular, our partners and our customers are advocating for and most interested in making change in the world around. And then we rally around for them.
How do you, what would you recommend for companies that want to create a vision, like taking the existing values? You also just mentioned employees are basically the transporter of your mission. What would be your recommendation for a company that wants to start to do purpose-driven brand management?
Purpose-driven brand, it has to start within the company, and it has to start at all levels, mm-hmm. from the very top executives down and transcend across every function, every department. And that was sort of my point in the discussion this morning, or the keynote this morning, was the marketing organization just can't speak values. You have to live values in your organization. And so I think it's an exciting opportunity for marketers to go back and say, this is the new battleground. It's not enough just to talk about features and capabilities. Our consumers, our customers, they want to know what we stand for, and to be the rallying cry in an organization to say, what do we stand for, and then what are the programs? So I recommend to everyone, this is a conversation to be had with your executive leaders, and then to look and really take stock, audit your organization to say, what are the programs that we have in place at all levels that show that we're really walking the walk and that it's really in the DNA? Because most companies have some documented values somewhere, but we've all seen situations where they sit in a 10K report or on a plaque on the wall, and it's really about taking those and making sure, if they're truly your values, they hold up in the actions of your business every day.
Yeah, earlier this morning I had a talk with Anja Händel from Porsche. She's running the Innovation Lab.
Yeah.
And so she told us about a struggle they had in the beginning, that had to bring back concepts and ideas to the mother organization. So it was all about communication, she said. It's about being open and transparent. Exactly. Yeah. So what are your key success factors that you can give to companies in order to transport the values through all levels, as you just described?
I think the way you can bring it to every level of an organization and to everyone is, I always metaphorically say, get out of the building. And I mean that metaphorically, meaning get closer to your customers. You know, we've all been in a situation where you have a lot of people sitting around a room internally within an organization debating what is right for your customers and your consumers, and yet the answers are right outside the four walls of your building. Yeah. And so I would say, bring your customers closer, bring the consumer closer to you. I talked about that as well, really, the importance of co-creation, not just in your marketing, but what are your core products and services, and how together are your customers shaping your design, your development, and your service model?
Mm-hmm. So bringing the customer closer and co-creating content, so brands are no longer creating the content individually, it's more a common process. What is your recommendation in terms of setting up a community, creating engagement among your customers?
So creating engagement with customers, I do think, starts with a rich community, because again, the conversations are happening within the community. Mm-hmm. So why should a brand be creating content in isolation of that community? And it should be from the voice of the community. So I think a foundational piece is to invest in your community. What are you doing both in person and virtually to support the gathering of the community? And I want to be careful to say the gathering of the community, because it's not the brand's job to drive the agenda. That needs to happen authentically and organically within the community. But there are many things that you can do to help facilitate bringing like customers and consumers together and letting them drive the conversation and listening very deeply and learning from those conversations.
So the community stays independent, but it's the job of the company in order to understand what they want and what they value.
Yeah, listening to the community, the answers sit right there with your community.
And then they create the right experience, what the community is looking for.
Exactly.
So talking about experience, you once stated that the role of the CMO is supposed to change to a CXO, like the Chief Experience Officer. What is for you the key difference between those two roles?
Yeah, I think traditionally, or for many years, the role of the CMO has been entrenched in more traditional branding, brand awareness, creative, and those are all amplifiers of what a company's values are. But the reality is a CMO needs to go far beyond that now. A CMO needs to reach across an entire organization and say, where are all the places that we have interaction with customers, and help guide the company to create a single experience for folks like you and me. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, for many years, the CMO and the marketing organization as a whole has sort of focused on attracting new customers, but a CMO really needs to be minded about the full customer experience, from the early education to a transaction, through loyalty, through what is their experience with the brand at every touch point. So I think the job has become much larger in that a CMO really needs to help orchestrate customer experiences, bringing together the entire organization and not just really managing a marketing team.
So at Salesforce, you basically provide a tool in order to support creating those experiences. And I guess you work with a great variety of different companies. What have you seen in the past are like the key success factors of companies that are succeeding in digitization?
Key companies that are succeeding in digitalization. Well, I'd qualify that a little bit. I've seen companies that have done a lot in automating, and I wouldn't call that really a digital transformation, because they've taken existing processes and they've digitized them. Yeah. The companies that are most successful are those that really looked and see the digital technologies as an opportunity to completely rethink and reshape their business models to drive these better customer experiences. And so it's those brands out there who are doing that and have deep commitment and sponsorship at every level in the organization. You can't really have it be one customer experience manager or a team over here or here. It has to be a really radical mind shift in an organization where everyone in the company knows that they're part of creating a customer experience, and that it's the sum of the parts that create the whole for the customer.
So bottom line basically is it's customer centricity throughout the whole company.
Right. Absolutely.
Great. Stephanie, thank you so much for sharing those insights with us.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
And enjoy DMEXCO.
I will.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.